Good afternoon, good evening, good night. Whatever the case may be, this is nothing new to you. Of course, you know that you're watching the Real Estate Development Experience. This is your host, Javon, or the Javon to some of you, because many of you feel that I rock like Donald Trump, but I don't. But anyway, if it talks like Donald, walks like Donald, I guess it's soon to be Donald. Joking. But anyway, this is week 5, semester 1, year 1 of the Real Estate Development Experience. Now, I approach midterms. I'm about 6 days away from midterms. I've done a bit of studying, so from Thursday to about Sunday or Monday, I'm going to totally just cram to pick up the pace, if you will, to get ready for these midterms. I have 2 midterms. The third one is at the ending of the month, so I'm not so worried about that. I have a midterm on finance, which is the hardest of the 3. And also I have a midterm on legal principles and practices. But anyway, for this show, alright, time management. For many of you, midterms are coming along. Remember the mistake that I made during undergrad? I worked too much. I had 30-something hours and 16 to 17 credits to take on. Too much. Cut your hours down. Okay? If you want success, you have to sacrifice. Cut your hours down from work and put your study time up. Learn how to organize your time. During one of my videos, I talked about one of the pillars to success is having the right mindset. Part of having the right mindset is having the right area, environment. Organization is key. So anyway, during the 6 weeks in this course, in the real estate course I'm taking, it's been a crash course. I'm really learning some cool things, if you will. There's multiple ways to make money. My real estate coach always tells me that real estate is a very entrepreneurship endeavor. And it is. I mean, you could have a career in real estate, but the opportunity to work for yourself is great. You know, there's so many different aspects of the business, if you will. So, what I've learned so far, real estate development is all about loans, loans, loans. The developer is like the chief organizer of investments, right? How he goes about building projects, it's all about loans. There's 2 different types of aspects to any development project. 2. One of these types, if I can find my pen, which I have it, I said it last week. It's called leverage. Leverage is another word for debt. Financing, if you will. The second one is equity. Equity is money. It could be your money that you basically think of it like that. Money, on one hand, equity has to be paid back, but it's a very tricky situation. Like, for example, if I contribute money to this project plus leverage, let's say, for example, to clear this up, today, right now, last week I was talking about the different entities that contribute to a development project. You have life insurance companies, you have pension funds. All of these entities give money towards a development project. It's an investment, right? That money has to be paid back, and that's in the classification of leverage, right? Now, a bank, these entities that finance these projects, today the rate is anywhere from 65% to 75%. It's usually now in the 60s, but now that the economy is recovering, it should be in the 70s, right? Now, these entities are going to lend developers money to build projects with an interest, if you will. Now, they're going to combine this debt, this leverage, with equity, right? Now, equity is something like invested money, if you will. Invested money. It can be your money. It can be your friend's money. It can be your family member's money, right? People, it's money that's contributed by people, right? Equity and leverage are kind of like blurred terms, but in a simplistic fashion, equity is money that it's not bank related. It's more like private money. I'll think of it like that. By investors, your money, family, friends. Just to cut that off, right? All of this money goes towards a project, and the developer oversees what's going on in order to, and he manages and coordinates the activities of a project in order to extract profit to pay back, to pay not only himself, but to pay back the bank, and the many different investors in a project. Now, with this business, it is a lot of risk involved. This business is a lot of risk. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can lose your freedom. This is one of the drawbacks to real estate development. People, if they don't know what they're doing, they can lose their freedom. It is very important. That's why it's very important to know the law, to know your rights. If you, for example, do a project, you take these people's money, and you do a project, and if you can't deliver the profits, or if it, for example, if your property gets foreclosed on, or something drastic happens where they can't see a return on their money, and they're losing, you can lose your freedom. You can wind up in a box. So it's very important to know what you're doing and to also play by the rules. Now, there are 3 phases in a development project where financing will occur. The pre-development phase, which is the acquisition, that's going to be, you're going to have to take out a loan or gather people around in order to do a project, right? Okay? That's the acquisition phase. The second phase is going to be your construction phase. The third phase is your post-construction phase. Now, the pre-development phase, when you go and get your money for that, it's a very high risk, right? You have to pay that out as soon as possible. Okay? Your construction phase, it's going to be, you're going to have to go to an equity investor, private investors. You're going to have to get a construction loan, which the terms of these, all of these different loan terms have, they're very tricky, if you will. They have caveats to them, things that you have to understand. So the developer's job is the understanding of how to properly use money to make a profit. Basically, the science still holds these people that it takes money to make money, if you will. And these people have to know finance, how to take $1 and turn it into $100, if you will, to pay not only himself for his services, and to pay the different players in the development process, right? The last phase is the post-construction phase. After the project is done, to sell on the property and pay off any expenses. They have, after you've drained out the loans by your bank, and if your investors are out of money, there's another loan called a mezz loan. That usually comes, you can obtain a mezz loan either in one of these 3 phases, but a mezz loan can be obtained by a bank. They're basically, think of it like this way, they're basically glorified loan sharks. They're going to loan you money for a short period of time with a high interest rate. If it's not paid back on time, you are screwed. So this is a very risky business. And some people succeed, some people fail, but the difference between the successful ones and the unsuccessful ones, it goes back to one of my videos about the keys to character. One of them is mindset. You have to be focused. You know, I mean, you have to really study. And this is why I'm not jumping into this business so fast. I'm taking the time out to get a degree in it, to know what I'm doing. Now, to close off my show, alright, I want to talk to you about, during every one of my videos, I'm going to be talking about different types of companies, if you will. Different developers and different people that are involved in real estate, they organize their companies around several different company types. Now, this week I'm gonna go over what's known as an REIT. But this is called, it's an abbreviation or an acronym, sorry, for Real Estate Investment Trust. These trusts are very appealing to investors, or to basically people like me with a small amount of money who want to invest in a trust, if you will. The people who carry out, or the people who invest in these real estate trusts, they're known as the beneficiaries, and their will, if you will, and their investments are handled and carried out by people that are known, what's called basically trust officers, if you will, right? Trust officers, with the aid of appointed officers, they buy, sell, mortgage, and operate real estate investments on behalf of the beneficiaries, right? So, like stock, the beneficial interests are freely transferable and sell for about $100 each or less, right? So you have another type of another type of company which you can organize your real estate company in. It's called a corporation. The basic difference between a corporation, which I'm going to get to in another video, LLC, and an REIT, land trust, one of the basic differences is the way in which taxes are paid. With a REIT, as long as the business has about 100 people in it, it saves the company from what's known as double taxation, if you will, right? Now, this double taxation, as long as they have the 100 people, I believe the IRS will tax them only once. If it's under 100 people and there's another provision, they will tax them twice. So when the REIT gets that money back, the IRS, if it's 100 people, they'll only tax that money one time. If it's less than 100 people, they're going to tax the money that's coming in, and also each individual that gets that money. So that's why REITs are more appealing than other, in certain circumstances, than other types of companies. But anyway, that's my show for this week. Kind of long, but I'm really learning a lot. You know, things are going great. It's been, you know, a good 7 weeks, man. I tell you, 6 weeks. I'm sorry, 6 weeks. You know, the one thing about this business, it's a people business. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And I'm meeting a lot of good people. You know, I made a couple of good friends. And, you know, this is the time for all of you who are in real estate development in school. You'll find that, you know, the most chances you have to develop good, solid relationships is in school. You know, you're studying with these people. You guys have a similar mindset. Partner up. Pool your resources together. And, you know, make that investment happen. But anyway, this is the Real Estate Development Experience. And you have just been Experience Honey Baby. Ciao.